everybody, it's Brooke. Welcome back to another episode of the A Knit Soul podcast. My name is Brooke and I'm the owner and dyer behind Fully Spun. I'd like to say welcome to all my new viewers and thanks for coming back to all of the old viewers. And before we get into everything, why don't you take a second to hit the subscribe button down below so that you can see more craft and lifestyle videos from me, and go ahead and hit the like button just for the heck of it. So up first, we've got some administrative stuff before we get into the knitting. I am running a 2018 sweater knit along throughout the whole year, and we're almost at the end of the first quarter. There have been a lot of really awesome finished objects that have been posted to the thread, as well as a lot of awesome chatter. And so if you, I have some giveaways for that, which I will be doing that giveaway video at the beginning of April. I'll be out of town next weekend, so I won't be recording, but I will do the giveaway the following weekend. So the first prize is this beautiful bat, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to see all the wonderful colors, but it is from, did she put her name? I'll have to put her name down below, but she doesn't have an Etsy shop at the moment, but she sent in some beautiful items. So she sent in this beautiful bat, which has got a mix of fibers and lots of pretty colors to it. And she also sent in 2 hand-spun skeins of yarn. So this one is a faux cashmere and merino in beautiful pinks. And then this one is alpaca and wool. And it's got a lot of really awesome colors, and they're really muted because of the gray of the alpaca. And last but not least is a beautiful bag from Quirky Monday Crafts, and I will insert a picture of it. I know you can't see it. I left it nicely wrapped for you guys, for whoever wins that. So I will be doing a pull from both the FO and the chatter thread, and I will post that in a couple weeks. So go ahead, and if you finished a sweater this year, go ahead and enter it. And if you're working on a sweater and would like to join along in the knit along, definitely stop by. Next, I'd like to talk about a couple things that I've got going on with Fully Spun. Last weekend, even though I was really sick, my mom and sister were so nice, and they actually did both shows for me. So I was at Fibernate and I was at the Homespun Yarn Party in Savage Mill, and both of them went amazing, especially considering that I wasn't there and I was at home sick. So thank you again to my mom and my sister for that, and thank you to all of you who have supported Fully Spun this far. After the shows, I did have a shop update, and I'd like to show you guys a few of the new things that I've got in the shop. So up first is Basic, which is back again. This is our kind of signature colorway, and it is just yellow, yellow, cyan, and magenta, which are the primary colors. But it really just speaks to my outlook on color and color mixing, and that's how I achieve a lot of the beautiful colors that I create. But in this case, it's just straight primary colors, and I really love it. So this is back. I've got some skeins of that. I've got some skeins of a new colorway that's called Sherbet, and for obvious reasons, and it really is a really fun colorway. And this is actually one that I happen to not write down, unfortunately, so this will not be repeated once it goes away. Up next is Grab the Old Bay, and I actually also have this in the sock yarn, but I forgot to grab it. So this is the original, which is the 2-ply, and I have it in the sock, which is the 3-ply. And all of these are fingering weight. And then I have the Chief in the 2-ply, and I also have it as a new colorway in the 3-ply. And so this is a great example of what the difference is, and I really have loved creating all of these sock colorways and kind of reinventing my existing colorways. So the Chief was the color from March last year, and so it's finally back as well and still fabulous. So that's it for Fully Spun. If you're interested in that sweater knit along, definitely be sure to stop by. And if you saw anything of interest, definitely stop by the shop to check it out. I also still have some Phlegathon. Phlegathon shawl kits, which is one of the patterns I collaborated with Francois Denoy of Aroha Knits for. And it's actually Aroha Knits. I always pronounce it wrong, but I still have a few of these. I'm out of the Ice-Scape shawl kits, but those will be back probably in about a month. Up first, I have a finished object, guys. It did not make it to the show, but it does have a pom-pom, and I did get to try it out in the snow this week. This is the Vintage Prim by Andrea Mowry, and I knit it with Fully Spun Original BFL in the I-95 colorway, and with Cloudborn Highland fingering in like a navy blue colorway. And I added a pom-pom to it. So I really enjoyed knitting this until it got to the end, and there's this 5-stitch decrease that you do basically on all the top decreases that I wasn't a huge fan of, but otherwise it was an enjoyable knit. I did not do a gauge swatch, and it ended up coming out too big even though I went down a needle size. So this is unblocked. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. So yeah, this is the Vintage Prim by Andrea Mowry, and it's all done. Alright, next, I've been monogamously knitting on this sweater, and I'm sick of it. I'm so over it. Like, I hate to, I never want to knit anything other than love into something I create, but I don't like this sweater. I'm over it. But I know I'll enjoy wearing it, so I'm trying to push through. So this is my progress, and I unfortunately stopped in the middle of the row. This is my progress on the Georgetown Cardigan by Hannah Fettig, and I had to rip it out and start in all one piece, and I actually have gotten past the point where you break to create the top, front, and back. So I finished the left front section, and I'm working on the back, and then I'll do the right front. And after that, I have to do pickup stitches and work on the sleeves, and then there will be a navy blue, pretty deep navy blue shawl collar border all around the middle. So I'm not out of the woods yet, but I've gotten a good amount of knitting done, and at least it's more interesting because I'm doing more than just miles and miles and miles of stockinette. So what's funny is that in my knitting career, I actually had never been able to purl correctly. So when you knit continental, you're supposed to purl just like you do with knitting, where you just pretty much put the yarn in front of the needle, and then the needle does all the work. And so I've always had to use my middle finger to actually push down the yarn behind the needle, because I could just never get it right. And I started Norwegian purling because I was just that sick of purling, and it was hurting my hand a lot. And then I just happened to figure out that if you just twist the right needle more, and then you just rotate this a little, then you can loop it around. So no need for Norwegian knitting, no need for using my finger to push the yarn behind. Now I can actually, after all these years, I can actually purl the way I'm supposed to purl. So it's not as painful as before I figured that out, but it still is quite painful, especially after I feel like I spent, spent most of the last year either knitting garter or knitting something in the round. So that's all I've been working on, of course, just trying to push through it. Well, I worked on this too, but that's my only active work in progress right now. I'm itching to pick up some other things. And so speaking of other things, let's go into acquisitions. So I managed to escape Fibernate without, excuse me, I managed to escape Fibernate without purchasing anything, but I did make a lot of purchases at Homespun Yarn Party. So up first, I purchased a Star Trek bag from, I think her shop name was Star Fibers, and she doesn't have a tag on here. But I also, oh my god, it's so cool. I actually didn't look inside. So this is the outside. which has, I like it because it has a hurrah on it, and it's blue. And then this is the inside, and I didn't even look in here. Okay, she does have it. It's starnets.net is her website. Oh my god, I love this. This is everything. I don't know where she found this fabric, but that's the inside, and then it's got, so, oh my god, I love this. It's got some cute pockets. That's awesome. I like this bag even more that I flipped it inside out. Of course. Alright, so that's that. And then from Dragonfly Fibers, I purchased a second skein of Van Gogh's Bedroom on the Jenny base, which my sister got me one skein of this last year for my birthday, and I still don't know what I want to do with it, but I know I definitely needed 2 skeins of it. So since they were there, I went ahead and picked it up, and I'm pretty sure this is darker than my other skein, but I'll just alternate and call it a day. And then I bought a skein of Franklin Fingering, which is superwash, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon from the Fibrous. And they're also a local dyer to the Virginia area. And they're part of my weekly Thursday knit night. So I'm glad to finally be able to support them. Ironically, even though they have a million beautiful colors, I went with white, and that is for a specific reason. I also have been pattern shopping this week, and I purchased the Elephant Cowl by Janice Hope, which is a recent release, and I'll insert a picture. But the reason I purchased it is because I have a couple of extra skeins of the Chief that are too small, and so I'm going to pair this with this and knit that cowl, and I'm so excited with it. It's going to be everything, but I'm really loving the Chief in this new 3-ply colorway, so that's what that's for. And then the other pattern that I purchased, which was also my featured pattern for the week for Fully Spun, was the Changes Shawl by Mina Phillip. And this is a beautiful shawl with a really interesting construction that goes in multiple directions. And you pair, she paired a speckled skein with mini skeins and in her shawl. But the reason that I recommended it is I think it would be great for Fully Spun where the striping, happens on its own. So you just need, you need 200 grams of each. So you need 200 grams of your main and 200 grams of Fully Spun yarn. And I think it would be great. But I also purchased it because I'd like to knit one for myself. If you remember last year, the Starting Point cowl that I knit has been my office cowl. The Starting Point wrap that I knit has been my office wrap, but it's not warm enough. I knit it with Knit Picks gloss, and being fingering weight and all that, it's just not warm enough. So I think that doing something where there's just all wool content and maybe a tighter gauge would make it a little bit warmer. And then last but not least was a trade that I did with another of my Knit Night people. This is Neighborhood Fiber Company in the colorway Nichols Pond. And I'm going to pair this with that Black Panther skein that I showed you guys last time. And this I bartered with. I purchased another skein. It was like a mystery, and I wasn't completely happy with it. I was expecting blue, and it came back green, and I'm not a fan of green. So I texted her, and I was like, do you like this? And she was like, yes, let's trade. So we traded, because she didn't like the skein, because I guess it was too bright, but I love it. So everybody wins. So that's yet another thing that I have yarn for that I have to knit, and it's all making me very anxious, and I feel like I just need to go back on my yarn diet. Like, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm trying to get through these sweaters. I don't have time to be buying all this yarn that I don't have time to work with. So yeah, so that is Sorry, I was just looking at Rolo. He's so cute. That was all of the knitting content for today. So thank you guys so much for checking in. And if you've been buying any patterns lately or purchasing any yarn, definitely let me know in the comments below, or let me know on Instagram. I'd love to see and love to be enabled, although you know, I think I am going to go back on my yarn diet because I did really well with that yarn and project bag diet. I'm maxed out on project bags because I can't actually knit that many things at once. So yeah, so anyway, let me know if you bought anything cool lately. I always love to see that kind of stuff. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. And if you didn't subscribe at the beginning, go ahead and take the chance now to subscribe for more craft and lifestyle videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.